order. And first item on ideas that you have about ways that we could support you in recruiting and retaining volunteers. Scott, do you want to add anything? Oh, go ahead.
It would be helpful. I've been on the commission now. Gosh, I think it's coming up to almost a year, but it'd be good to know where we've sort of been, where we think we're going. Increasing, we recommended the town increase the discounts on property tax, to the state limit, which they approved, which was great. But I can't help but wonder, and I'd love to hear from everybody, or maybe not, it happens all tonight because it's kind of just a discussion, but is there more that we should be thinking about as a town to for the future sustainability and effectiveness of the system, and are there things that we, should sort of brainstorm about to help with recruitment, retention, and just overall effectiveness as we go, into the future? But maybe this is a road that's been traveled, but I thought and Karen was kind enough to put it on the agenda because I think it, could be something worth talking about.
Okay. I think moving forward, I think what we did over the last, I think the Board of Selectmen took it up last month or like a month and a half ago, was to vote and approve the tax abatement increase, which is a big helpful. And I think that's a recruitment retention tool. And I think there's other things we do have that are in place that are working well right now. But I think it's a conversation that we have to think about, and it's not a bad topic to talk about, but I think I just need a little more time to figure out what else that would be beneficial to the association, to the town, and to the department to recruit and retain more people. I mean, if that's definitely a discussion we want to have, I mean, we'd be more than happy to look into it and let me think about it, and let me come back next month and maybe with some ideas or none, but at least we could talk about it. I mean, it's a good thing because we've never really discussed it.
I worked for an organization, my prior life, where we had two sort of retention recruitment types of things. And one of them was like the tax abatement, residency benefits. We had a down payment assistance program. And, that really was powerful. And then we also had educational incentives, that sort of brought the family in, scholarships for the children of volunteer firefighters. I would imagine our spouses in the volunteer probably work harder than the volunteers,
Actually, talking about all this, one thing that we have talked about in the past, which would actually be a pretty good thing. So we do have a tax abatement that we just went through again and revamped. We do have like a bond program, which used to be a U.S. savings bond program. Rich, you probably remember this when you were in.
I do.
And then it transitioned out of U.S. savings bond because it was way too complicated, too much paperwork, and it went more to a money mutual account. It went to, we have a financial advisor, and basically everybody gets, depending on the number of years, the money gets divvied up between the people that are eligible that make their quotas, and it goes into that account. But one thing that might not be a bad idea, which I would actually entertain looking into, which would be good, and not everybody would actually want it, would be more of like, if some of these guys could tap on maybe and pay for it, and not get it for free, but pay into like the town health insurance. So the people that are paying for health insurance, maybe they can get a better rate by going with a group policy with the town instead of paying individually as a volunteer firefighter. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate that what all the boards and commissions do, but what the volunteer firefighters do, it's a lot more demanding and a lot more time than meeting once or twice or 3 times a month. But that might be a good incentive to offer because not everybody has that. And it's not like the town would be fronting any costs, but the individual firefighter could pay into it at a reduced rate of what the town pays and bring them along. Now, I know there are it is problematic because they're not employees of the town. But if we could do something like that, or even if a volunteer firefighter gets hurt, maybe we look at a short-term or long-term disability program, like an athlete program, which I think would be a great thing also. Over the years, we had some issues, and that would put minds at ease as firefighters that if you do get hurt on the job, at least you're covered. We have we also have people that in the department that are self-employed that don't have that type of insurance also. So
Right. Well,
that might be a good thing to look at. Those are just some of the ideas I have, but I want to really look into it and maybe report on it next month.
Yeah, those are some good ideas to get us started. So we'll just kind of keep this as a running agenda item. So thank you for your continued ideas and reaching out to your association and finding out what ideas they might have as well. I do want to say welcome. I should have said that first, to our new commissioner, Rich Larico. We're very glad to have you. And I also want to just say welcome back, Stephanie. I'm glad to see you over Sean's shoulder there. And we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. And good luck, Rich. Good to have you on here.
Good to see you, Stephanie.
Should we go around and introduce ourselves, or does Rich know everybody?
Sure, we should do an introduction.
Okay. You start. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
I know he knows you. All right.
I'm Sean Roland. I'm the fire chief. He already knows that, but.
All right. And does he know Ted and Joe and Nate?
We'll go right around.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Rich. I was at his house a month or so ago for a fire call.
All right.
Yes, and I know
Okay.
him from a long time ago.
And I was
Thank
at his
you for
house
your
with Nate
service.
that day, the day of the
All
snow
right.
house. I was with Nate.
Yes, that's right.
And Rich was going out as I was coming in, so we've met before.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Scott, you want to introduce yourself?
Scott Hunter. I was a young boy in town and joined the commission about getting close to a year ago, and just a lifelong resident of the town.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Rich, my name's Pasquale Izzo. I go by Lino. I am, I guess, newer to Woodbridge. I moved here in 2009. I live here with my wife and 2 kids, and I've been on the fire commission now for about 3 years, I think.
Nice to meet you.
Very good. Do we have me? Karen Kravitz, lived in Woodbridge for whatever 23 minus 6 is, 17 years. And been on the fire commission for 6 years, right? Ish.
Longer than
Longer?
it seems longer than that, right?
Yes, it does. Yeah. And I was on the Beecher board before that, a lawyer in New Haven at Sussman, Duffy, and Sagaloff. So welcome. Is that everybody?
Thank you.
Okay.
And then we have Tina.
Tina.
Oh, give me Tina O'Connor. You probably know my husband. He was in the PD in New Haven for a while, and he was U.S. Marshal. So I think you know him, John. But that's it.
Nice to meet you, Tina.
Nice to meet you, Rich.
Okay. All right, that's it for the chairman's report. Current financial statements.
You're on mute.
I am.
Does
Sorry,
everybody
hold
have the
on.
financial statement? It should have got an email to you.
Yes.
Everybody should.
Got
It was included in the agenda.
All right, so just a couple key points, and we're okay under the budget. I'm gonna get to a couple issues that we have under the chief's report, regarding the budget. But overall, we're okay, but I'll let you know some of the things that have come up, in the past, couple weeks. So the financial report is okay right now.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So no questions. All right. Chief's report.
so my report, we just had trick or treat at the firehouse. It was a successful event. It wasn't as busy as we normally have it. I think it's due to the fact of a lot of people asking there were no fireworks this year, but we had a couple technicalities and some problems. We couldn't shoot we can't shoot the fireworks off where we normally shoot them because there's a dog park there, and they don't want us to shoot fireworks off in the dog park. And it just so happens to be we were shooting them off for years, and during COVID, I guess the Board of Selectmen agreed to allow the dog park into that location, and now we have an issue where we cannot shoot them off there anymore. But we'd like to move it, but we really can't. And maybe Joe could speak on that, because we have to be so many feet from all the roads, from Beecher Road, Center Road, Oak Hill, and the actual firehouse where the spectators are. So really X marks the spot. So we'll work on that for next year and try to come up with a plan to be able to shoot them, I guess. If not, the fireworks might be completely done. I don't really have another suggestion here. And it's too bad because we usually get 3,000 to 4,000 people at the event, and the fireworks are a big draw along with trick or treat and everything else. So it is a really good event and community based. It's probably the biggest event in town to do.
Is there an opportunity to request that the dog park be closed for certain hours so that it can accommodate fireworks?
Yeah, so what we normally do is we usually shut the Fitzgerald property down at 12 o'clock the day of we're shooting the fireworks, because we have to load the fireworks shells. We have to bring the tubes in, and then they have to load them into the tubes, the fireworks into the tubes, and it has to get inspected. So we usually do that about, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, about 2 o'clock. So once they set the tubes up around noon, we set them up at 2, and the dog park usually and the Fitzgerald property doesn't reopen until the next day around 12 o'clock. So it gives us time the next morning to go and clean up all the shells from the fireworks, rake them up, throw them out, get rid of them, and keep the area clean. So I guess part of the issue is that, and also I guess the color, when the firework explodes overhead, the coloring of the firework, like the grit comes down, and I guess what I'm being told is it can get the dog sick. I haven't personally heard about that, but that's what I've been told this year. And so we don't really have a better suggestion what we can do here, whether that be wet the grass down after, take the fire truck over and spray it down, and maybe that will dilute it so the dogs don't get sick. But we're trying to do what we can do so we can keep this event going strong.
Chief,
All right. Well,
it is a safe event, though. Normally we have anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000 people, sometimes more.
All right, well, just let's keep the conversation going. Let us know how the commission can support you and trying to find a way to keep doing that.
Okay.
Okay, what else you got for Chief's report?
Apparatus report, engine 2 and engine 3 went out for service. They came back, they're okay, minor repairs, nothing major. Like last year, we were having major repairs. The next trucks that go out are going to be the tankers. Those are going out in the next couple weeks, and those will come back, and we'll start doing the rest of the trucks for repair maintenance machine. Basically the annual service that we have to do on those trucks. So that's apparatus report. Also, talk about apparatus. The new engine 9 that we ordered 2 years ago, we're going out the end of this month. 3 of us on the truck committee to look at the truck out in Minnesota. As long as everything looks good and it's to the spec. Usually there's a couple things that they have to fix, and that's normal on most trucks. Once they do that, the truck will get driven from Minnesota back to Connecticut or back to Mass to their shop to do some odds and ends, basically dealer prep items, and then we'll have the truck. Hopefully we'll have the truck, I'm hoping by sometime the beginning of January, and we'll get it in service shortly after that. And engine 9 will be leaving when that new truck comes in. The STEEP grant, the town applied for a STEEP grant for the storage building / training facility out back. That was approved. It came up, the state approved that for $500,000. The town accepted the grant at the last meeting, and Tony Genovese is working on all the paperwork associated along with that. And the construction documents are completed. Those are going to be going out to bid. The foundation, let me just start over. I'm sorry. The foundation part went out to bid. The bid came back. The Board of Selectmen awarded the bid, and work has already commenced in the backyard to start the prep work, and the actual foundation, the digging for the foundation and the concrete work is going to commence on November 20th, which is about a week and a half away. So we're moving forward.
Excellent.
So we'll have that.
Very good.
We'll have that completed hopefully by the time it gets cold, so we don't have to spend additional monies to heat the concrete so it doesn't freeze. So I think we're still in a good spot to get that completed. And the bid document for the actual structure is going out on Monday. It looks like Tony's just finishing up the paperwork. We just got it back from the architect, David Stein, Silver Petroselli, this morning. And right now I can tell you the bid, if you give me a minute, is going to be due back on, let's see here. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I think it's going to be due back on December 12th. So we'll get the bids back December 12th, and then the Board of Selectmen have a meeting December 13th. And if we can't figure it out before the 13th, they'll probably call for a special meeting to hopefully approve the bid and award the bid to the contractor that's going to build the shed / training.
Excellent.
So that is moving forward, and that's good.
Do you want to talk about the conference?
Sure. So we didn't go last year. We've been the last few years before that, and it's actually good. This is the FDIC convention. If you go online, you can look at it. This is a big fire expo conference training deal that we normally go to. This is where all the state-of-the-art, this is where everything in the fire service is basically, you can go and put your hands on, touch it, demo it, and also there's a lot of training sessions that come along with it. It's a big conference and expo. So the cost of it with the hotel, airfare, the convention, with the training and everything, it's going to cost us roughly $5,000, a little over $5,000. And then you have ancillaries like some food and stuff, which I think 2 years ago came to maybe $1,000. That would come out of our training budget. So I think this is a really good thing, especially we need to start looking forward to a aerial truck that the association purchased back in, I think it was 2017, 2018. That's when we bought it, the older truck was a 1976 and it was way past its useful life. This truck is a 1992 and it's past its useful life. So we're looking at that, and that's a pretty hefty price tag. And what's nice about going out there is you could actually see the trucks, touch the trucks, look at sizes of the trucks, see what they're capable of, see what they have out there. So when we start to bid our truck, we can actually know what we're really looking at and the options that we want. So when we look at a truck like that, we're probably in the area, probably about a $2 million truck right now. So this benefits the town also. But it is a nonstop show. It usually goes from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m, and you're on the floor basically the entire time, or at a training session the entire time. So what I'm looking for you guys is I had to book the tickets because they came available, and I had to order them to get the reduced cost. So I need to get approval from you guys to be able to go to this conference. So
Okay, so tell us what that $5,000 or up to $6,000
it would be 3 people to go to the conference for hotel, airfare, and the convention itself.
Okay, and who else goes?
I'm thinking about taking the chief engineer, Jim Code, and possibly RJ Code, who's done a lot of radio work for us and some other stuff.
Okay.
So that's who I'm looking at right now.
Okay.
How long is
Anybody?
How long is the conference for?
So the conference, we would fly out on a Wednesday morning and return either late Friday night or early Saturday morning. So it's basically a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you come home Saturday morning or Friday night, depending on what we can do here.
And it's we've already budgeted for this, correct?
Yeah, so that would come out of our training line item. So we're okay in that line.
Where is that training line item? I was just curious.
So the training line item is
What number?
give me a second and I will find it for you.
Yeah, I was just
54630.
546. So it's 20%.
Yeah. So we're good. And this is a huge benefit.
What does FDIC stand for? Not the bank insurance.
What else does it stand for?
Yeah, right. What else does it?
hang on, I have to look it up.
I was just curious if
I want to just get the correct word for you.
I bet you F stands for fire.
I would think so.
Fire.
Let's see. It's FDIC International.
Oh, is that the standards group?
No, it's
Standards for firefighting and stuff?
No, that's different. I could get you what that stands for.
Yeah, I was just curious. Yeah.
I've never really been asked that.
I was gonna play along on TV.
But if you go online, you can see how
will.
big it actually is. It covers basically, it's the Indiana Convention Center plus it's Lucas Oil Stadium. So they're two big convention centers. There's over 1,100 vendors there, 1,100 different people. So you get to see
Fire Department Instructors Conference.
There you go.
FDIC is Fire Department Instructors Conference.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. You gotta love Google.
There you go.
Thank you, Tina and Google. All right. So I will entertain a motion to approve the expenditure of up to $6,000 for 3 members of the fire department to go to the Indiana convention in April.
I'll make a motion.
Stephanie seconded it.
Oh, no, I
Oh, Stephanie made it. Who second?
Yeah.
made it, and I think Scott did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stephanie made it. Scott, did you second it?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, activity report, Assistant Chief Pakowitz.
Hang on. I'm not done yet.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. All right. The other thing is, so under the budget, when I talk to you, we'll talk about it in my report. We had a couple issues over the last couple months. One being our S2 control system that does all the door access controls. We have an issue with the power supply and we needed to replace it, meaning some of the doors were failing and didn't work and the power supply went bad. So this goes back to the conversation we had months ago and we continue to have with the town and with UI over this microgrid. The building's taking, when they use the microgrid, we're taking big surges and we're not the only ones. Amity High School has been taking surges. They've been losing cameras just like we've been losing cameras. The PD's taken some surges with this microgrid. And every time, if you remember back in December, we had the storm and the mini split system in the IT room went bad. And that was like, I don't know, it was like $10,000 to repair. So we're still having issues. I think it's in our benefit and we have to replace that. And the cost is, it was $625 for the service call, and it's roughly $2,500 to replace the power supply. Now, I'm not saying these are big numbers where we have to worry about, but what happens is over the course of a year, these numbers start adding up to $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, and we're not budgeted for stuff like this blowing up. So moving forward in our capital budget, we're looking to do possibly a brand new, because we have battery backup at the firehouse, but what's happened is now, since it's 13, 14 years old, along with the building, the surge has been going through the battery. So the surge protection is actually not good anymore. So we're going to have somebody look and see what it would cost to put surge protection on the entire building, because we can't keep taking these big surges, because every time we do it, we end up breaking something, whether it be a camera server, cameras, power supplies, computers, air conditioners. We're having big problems here, and we're trying to get off the microgrid. I know it's an ongoing conversation with UI, the state, the town, but we're all having these issues. So I know there's going to be a meeting coming up. I talked to Tony, and we're trying to figure out what our next steps are, because it's not clean power where we just can't shut down every single time the microgrid wants to come on.
All right, keep us posted.
Another big thing that we're going to be sending a memo over to Tony, to the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance, is we had a heat problem at the firehouse last week where the heat would not come on. It was an air tank associated with the boiler that went bad and corroded. And basically there was video where you could put your finger through the tank. So it wasn't holding air. We couldn't make heat, and they had to do it on an emergency repair. And they actually stayed here until 10 o'clock Friday night to repair this. And they had to get the part out of Boston. And the cost is roughly $10,000 to make the repair and to fix the system at the firehouse. So we have heat and hot water, because we didn't have any for 2 days, and the building started getting really cold. So after talking to Tony, Tony said, just let's pay the overtime and get it fixed, because I didn't know if we could go all weekend. He didn't want to take the chance of going all weekend. So we decided just to get it fixed because we needed to get heat back up and running, and we needed hot water. Going on with the power surge, we had a tree come down on Center Road, knocked the power out to the firehouse. I'm pretty sure we went back on microgrid. We had an elevator issue with Kone, where the elevator stopped working. And at first we thought we possibly blew up the main control board of the elevator. We've done that before. That's like a $10,000 or $12,000 fix. What happened was the elevator actually ended up going into sleep mode, and they had to come out and fix that. And that was $825.03. So when I say $2,500, now we're talking $825. Some of these numbers start creeping up. And when we get toward, I don't know, maybe March, April, we have to be careful because we really didn't budget for any of these fixes. I mean, you budget for breaks here and there, but when we're having multiple breaks at a time because of a power surge, we need to fix that surge protection issue.
Okay, thank you for making us aware of it. Let us know if there's anything you need from us. I'm unaware of the conversations that were going on in the town about getting off the microgrid, but if that's something
we want
you think,
we want to get off the microgrid, because right now the microgrid is not working properly for us, and it's costing us a lot of money, or it's going to cost the insurance company a lot of money. So an item of $2,500 doesn't really pay to put toward the insurance because our deductible is high. If we end up blowing something 8, 10, 12,000, then we end up putting it through the insurance, which we've done in the past.
okay. Anybody have any questions or comments about that? Okay, can we move on to the activity report?
Sure.
Okay, Assistant Chief Pokowitz.
All right, so since our last meeting, in August, we did 32 calls. We had 3 fires, 13 hazardous conditions, 3 service calls, 3 good intent, and 10 false calls. In that, 7 of those calls were motor vehicle accidents. For September, we did 36 calls. We had 3 fires. We had 2 overpressure rupture, explosion, no heat, no fire. We had 14 hazardous condition calls, 2 calls for service, 15 false alarms, and in that breakdown, there were 8 MVAs. And last month in October, we ran 27 calls, 1 fire. We had 10 hazardous condition, no fire, 3 service calls, 3 good intent, and 10 false alarms. And in that breakdown, there were 8 motor vehicle accidents. We've been staying pretty consistent with that 7 to 9 motor vehicles the last few months. So those numbers are starting to creep back down again.
Good. Okay, anybody have any questions or comments?
Nope.
Thank you, Ted. Fire Marshal's report.
Yes, we got the new computer system. So the only way I can get the report to print was from the time we started to today. So we got to call up and get that straightened out next week. But I did 180 inspections in that 4-month time. We did fire prevention for 700 children at 9 different locations. And Nate Case was a big help. He helped me in 8 of the 9 places. We also had a Porsche burn up in someone's driveway on Ansonia Road on the 26th of September. We brought the accelerant sniffing canine in. He didn't detect anything. And when you run the VIN number, the car comes back to nobody. We had it impounded at the police department. It comes back to nobody. The police department said, we're done with it. From my end, nothing I can do. We released the car, went back to the tow truck company. It's up to them what they do with it from there. But other than that, that was it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you, Joe. Okay, the next item on the agenda is correspondence. I don't believe we have any. Tina or Chief?
No, we have, no, I put that in the packet. There's 4 pieces of correspondence.
Oh,
Everyone-
okay. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Okay, do you mind reading them for us?
Sure. So the first note was a note from Mrs. Simpson to Fire Marshal Capucci, thanking him for checking the CO levels of the house earlier this week and for a new monitor. And she wrote, "He is very reassuring to know I am safe at home." That was back in September. And then the next note was another resident, Barry Celia Vine, thanking for your assistance with our water emergency on Country Club Drive. And they also provided a nice donation to the association, which was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And the next note was from the Woodbridge Rec Department. This is back in October for service for the 2023 road race. Your time and service make it possible to hold this popular community event. And it's during the summer months, flyers are made and printed up. Woodbridge Rec posted on their website. Proceeds from this road race help provide food and fuel to those in need. So they count on the fire department every year, and every year the fire department comes back and helps out. And then lastly, a note from the Orange Volunteer Fire Association from a woman who, there was actually a fire. She's and Ted could probably help out with this too. She works for the Orange Fire Department, but the fire was actually at her house.
Yes, she's a member of their department.
So they called, Orange called us for mutual aid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what they wrote was, instead of, this is what's so important, what we do, instead of enjoying a beautiful summer evening, many members of your department responded to this call for additional help. She is grateful for your department's tireless efforts and quick response to prevent further damage to her home. Thank you for your dedication and hard work. So that was back in August. So that's pretty nice.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, approval of the August meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the August meeting minutes.
Do we have a
Who's that? I'm
second?
sorry.
That was Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Lino, second.
Okay, any discussion? Any changes?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Except for probably our new member.
Oh, yes, Rich
Probably
probably
is an
abstained
abstain.
because you weren't here.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
And was anybody else not here at the August meeting minutes, August meeting, or everybody was here? Let's see.
I think everybody was there, is my memory.
Yes, okay.
There's us 4.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Very good. Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 4th. We talked about that at the August meeting. Instead of having try to, with the holidays and everything, just to have a meeting on December 4th. Does that work for everyone?
Yes, for me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Okay. Very good.
So at that
All right.
meeting, just to let everybody know, we'll be presenting the capital budget to you guys for approval.
Okay.
Is that an annual, Sean, or is that a multi-year?
That's the multi-year. So we do it annually, and it's a 6-year capital plan. And then also we'll be presenting the beginning of January to you guys is the operating budget for next year.
Is there any material? Is there a vote at that meeting?
There's a vote at both meetings.
Is there anything we need in advance to give us some time?
Yes,
We'll have
what
everything
we'll
in
do
advance.
is we'll send it out in the packet, and then we'll talk about each item at the next meeting and go forward on that.
Okay, thanks. I'm
So
new to this,
so
but
it's-
Yep.
I'm sorry, it's Tina. It's due to the finance department on the 8th. So it's important that we have this meeting on the 4th, even if we have to do it by Zoom, just so
no,
commissioners can go over.
Yeah, they agreed they're gonna be able to do it. Do you guys want to do it by Zoom or do you want to do it in person?
I think I want to do it by Zoom and make sure that we, have enough attendance.
works for me, whatever the group wants to do.
I mean, we can always change it right before the agenda goes out. We can just check in with everybody. If everyone can do it in person and wants to, then we'll do that. I just don't want to run into any more trouble with attendance. Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
And
I'm sorry, who made the motion, the first motion to adjourn?
Lino.
Lino, thank you, Lino. Thank
And
you.
Stephanie
Okay,
seconded it.
thank you. Yep, got it.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
everyone.
night.